My name is James Robertson. I'm a carpenter with Local 93. I'm unionized. I'm going to tell you a story about fringe monkeys and how valuable and important they are to protecting our society. This is a true story. In Africa, you have a troop of monkeys. Then you have your core group of monkeys that live in trees, and they have a hierarchy, they have a leader, and everybody follows the leader, except for the fringe monkeys. The fringe monkeys can't quite follow the leadership. They have different views. They want to do things a little bit differently. So the hierarchy of the chimpanzees or the monkeys banishes those monkeys, and they're called fringe monkeys. And they're banished to live out on the fringe of the chimpanzee troop. And everybody acknowledges they're there, and they let them do their thing. But the really important thing is the fringe monkeys protect the core group of monkeys, because if a predator comes, the predator will eat a fringe monkey first, or if there's a disease or something, the fringe monkeys will detect it first and ultimately pay the sacrifice and die. But that gives the core group of monkeys time to prepare and an advanced warning. So that's how valuable and important fringe monkeys are. Anybody on the fringe?
Welcome to the fringe.
Welcome to the fringe.
Thank you, sir.
No,
thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Fringe monkeys. Are we fringe monkeys?
No.
Welcome everybody to the Leo Zagami Show. Here we are for another episode of the Leo Zagami Show. Censored as usual, but hopefully you can still reach us. We are on our top secret Leo Zagami Show channel. I hope you understand you have to subscribe to the other channels before this one is scraped off the map. Are you going to do that?
Hopefully.
English-speaking audience, please wake up to the reality of today. We have a list of channels you can subscribe to. They are listed in the description of this video, either you're following us on Facebook or YouTube. And please support our show. Put like and support our show. Leo Zagami and Christy Zagami, Thursday, the 3rd of February, 2020. We have a usual Saturday show. By the way, Christy, do you know that we are no longer on Aftermath FM because Aftermath FM doesn't exist anymore?
I heard. That's too bad.
Oh wow, we don't have a radio platform anymore. If anybody is interested, please reach out. But I guess these internet platforms, radio platforms come and go. They are not that reliable after all. We are the Great Reject. The Great Reject. For those who don't know what the Great Reject is, a book is about to come out. It's called
Wait.
From the Occult Roots of the Great Reset to the Populist Roots of the Great Reject. Christy, are we going to bring out... this book is coming out on Monday, Ed.
Yeah, on Monday.
On Monday. On Monday!
I've been staring at it for a week.
And how is it?
I got a migraine yesterday.
But it's a good book, though.
It's really good.
It's a book that is going to cause a lot of controversy, and it's going to wake up a lot of people to the reality of today. And it's the only book that discusses the occult roots of the Great Reset. There's no other book. They are all discussing this Great Reset in geopolitical terms, political terms. But this is something else, guys. From Adam Weishaupt and the Order of the Illuminati till Klaus Schwab, World Economic Forum, there is, of course, an occult underlining that it's really embedded in Jesuitism, Sabbatean Frankism, and whatnot. So I guess a lot of people are going to indulge.
I take back what I said
about
there not being all the names and
It's a lot of names.
It got really complicated when I got to the occult chapter.
But then after it, kind of like it's self-explanatory, no? I mean, it's a book that you can still read without reading the other books.
Yeah, you can. You don't need the other books to read this one. Yeah.
Somebody's telling me Ottawa police bringing in explosive and rubber bullets. Well, that's not really good news. Let's first of all understand who this communist dictator of Canada truly is. Somebody who, of course, has been allegedly, a lot of people think he's actually the son of Fidel Castro. There is also this this whole thing going on. But we have also some good news from another side of Canada. But before we go there, we should check out a couple of things here. This is what happened.
So right now the problem is I'm kind of stuck and not really going anywhere. If you can see ahead of me.
So this is what happened a few days ago, you see, when things started to get tense in Ottawa, Canada.
Just leave the vehicle here. I can leave it there. I'm going to walk the road.
Ottawa.
6 or 7 blocks. Okay, I'm on Bank Street. I'm about 5 blocks away from Parliament Hill right now. At the end of this street, you can see the line of vehicles. Not very many semi-tractors in the line, actually. All these people here are making their way up to Parliament Hill. It's pretty slow going. Yeah, apparently all the trucks are up there already. So we'll see what I find when I get there in 5 blocks.
Okay, so this is more or less what was going on, but we know that Kevin Trudeau has been on the scene for a long time because he comes from a family. I mean, he's the son of another dictator of Canada, Rambo, what's up? Can you pick up Rambo? Because maybe people don't know, but we have a little Chihuahua that at times kind of like is being annoying today.
Yeah.
What is he doing? Why is he being annoying?
I don't know. What's the matter with you?
What's the matter with him?
He knows.
Huh?
We're gonna sit here for.
So he wants to participate to the show. Okay, so let's go back to Justin Trudeau in 2016 when he sparked controversy for his good words about Fidel Castro before realizing really this very particular connection between his family and Fidel Castro, a very intimate connection to say the least. Rambo, what's up? What's up, little boy? What's up, little boy? Show him. This is Rambo. Sometimes he can be an inconvenience, but he's not really. He's a darling. Welcome, everybody. 10 minutes past the hour. The Leo Zagami show. A lot of news today. And, of course, our topic of the day is that clown of Justin Trudeau. Somebody really from the epicenter of the clown world. He's regarded. And if you remember, the other day we broadcast Klaus Schwab talking about Justin Trudeau as being one of his creations. So here we are with Justin Trudeau, somebody who, of course, seems to have some very particular connections that have also sparked some controversy when, at the death of Fidel Castro, his words were a bit too indulging for a dictator, an assassin, like Fidel Castro.
Do you think Fidel Castro was a dictator?
Yes.
Little awkward pause there, and yes, that is the focus of our Sunday Talk, where we tap into the hot debate of the week. Today, Justin Trudeau's comments about Fidel Castro. The Prime Minister is defending a statement he released where he called the former Cuban president a remarkable leader and set off a storm of outrage. There is personal history here. In 1976, then Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau visited Castro and was roundly criticized.
Pierre Trudeau, the father of Justin Trudeau. Rambo, what's up? So basically what happened is that the mother of Justin Trudeau is said to have been a woman that liked very intimately Fidel, and there is some also evidence we will want to be showing soon. But basically this family connection and his ties to communism are pretty scary, to say the least.
For befriending a communist dictator.
It is indicative of Canadians' desire to maintain an independent foreign policy. There's something for us in trading with Cuba.
It's quite an amazing scene.
When Castro attended Trudeau's funeral in 2000, he and Justin Trudeau shared an emotional embrace.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is being sharply criticized for his praise of the former Cuban president.
And now he's getting his own serving of criticism for his eulogy that said, while controversial, Castro was a legendary revolutionary and orator who made significant improvements to Cuba's education and healthcare systems. Others were not so admiring.
I'm really happy, that Fidel is responsible for the death of a lot of people.
Opposition leader Rona Ambrose said her prayers are with Cubans who continue to endure Castro's long and oppressive regime. President Obama said history will judge Castro's impact. Around the world, pundits and politicians are calling Trudeau a fool and worse. Senator Ted Cruz called his eulogy disgraceful.
So his eulogy of Fidel Castro was a little bit too much for a lot of people.
Senator Marco Rubio asked if it was a parody.
They even said it was a parody.
And now the hashtag Trudeau eulogies is trending, with fake tributes to other famous dictators, like Cambodia's Pol Pot. Joining us.
This was, of course, November 2016. At the death of Jesuit agent, dictator, assassin, criminal, and a long list, Fidel Castro. What a monster. How can you ever say this guy was a great leader? I mean, of course, these days we really see who this guy really is. We have been discussing Trudeau for years. He's a creature, of course, of the World Economic Forum, by admission of the same Klaus Schwab. He is also somebody who is probably related by blood to Fidel Castro. And here there is an article with also some interesting photographic evidence that came out a few years ago. Of course, Fidel Castro is Justin Trudeau's dad. Nobody has debunked anything. We have also the similarities really in the look.
Oh my God.
So now it is a fact that Trudeau was in the Caribbean in spring 1971. It is a fact that the Trudeaus, so both the husband and the wife. The wife made the other with Fidel, of course, produce this unwanted baby. I don't know. I mean, maybe it was a gift to Canada. It is a fact that they adore Castro. It is a fact that the Trudeaus were swingers, so they liked also to do some kinky stuff in bed. This is what you need to know. They were swingers. So first, Margaret Trudeau, Pierre Trudeau, and Fidel Castro were all notoriously sexually promiscuous. Margaret Trudeau was a partier who unquestionably had sex with men while married to Pierre. Nobody knows if Pierre objected or if he liked to watch, like some do. I mean, that's it. They met when he was 48 and she was 18. They got married when he was 53 and she was 23. Their marriage surprised Canada because Pierre had been a lifelong playboy with no wife or children. This we're talking about the father of Justin Trudeau. He would be turning 60 when she was barely out of her 20s. She publicly states today she suffered from bipolar disorder and self-control issues. She smuggled drugs in the Prime Minister's official government luggage. She sneaked away from official functions to get high. She partied scantily clad at Studio 54. She likes Studio 54. She was in the disco.
Okay.
In the disco mode. She became embroiled in a scandal for having sex with Ted Kennedy. Gross. According to Kate Richards of the Rolling Stones, Pierre broke up with her while she was having an affair with Ronnie Wood. Huh. The list is Ronnie Wood. Okay. The list goes on. Pierre Trudeau slept around too, according to blah blah blah. So I mean, they like to have a fun time. There was here classical guitarist Liana Bioid and actress Kim Cattrall who claimed to have slept with him at some time. Pierre Trudeau biographer John English states the evidence is overwhelming. So you see, I mean, we're not just making this thing up. Here we have a lot of evidence, and this is the photo with the young Justin Trudeau, Fidel Castro, and the mother. That's it. We could really close today's show like this. It would be fine. But instead, this guy is ruining the life of millions of people. Canada has been a hellhole since the beginning of this whole pandemic. And of course, this is very scary for a lot of Canadians that keep on being oppressed by this Jesuit dictator, because of course, Fidel Castro was working for the Jesuits, and Justin Trudeau is the same. I mean, same father, same son. It's not like these things are transmitted. They kind of go on, They get transmitted from father to son. Now, let me show you Justin Trudeau. With all these Trudeaus. There was also Kevin, but that's another guy. Okay, so let's go and see a second Trudeau and his, let's say, stand that in a way has disappointed most people in Canada that really want to get back to ordinary life. I mean, this clown world is really becoming clearly unbearable for a lot of people, and the Canadians are having really a hard time. I mean, they have probably been more oppressed, but I mean, like I noticed in other episodes of our show, we have had similar levels of oppression in places like, for example, Australia, New Zealand, all part of the British Commonwealth. So there has been always a lot of talk about the British Commonwealth itself already leading to this kind of mechanism. I don't know why. Australians, New Zealanders, Canadians, everybody that seems to have the Union Jack or a link to the Queen of England in some way or another seems to be particularly oppressed, including the British themselves. But probably the Canadians have been much more oppressed than the British during this whole crisis. Now, people, of course, the truck drivers in particular, are rebelling because they didn't want to stand to this law that imposed on them this quarantine after they come back from America if they're not vaccinated. They don't want to necessarily get vaccinated. They stand inside their trucks all day long. They work very hard. We heard, of course, that unfortunately, I mean, we have to admit that there is some dangers to this whole thing, this experiment that has been taking place worldwide. So,
I want to be very clear. We are not intimidated.
Well, of course you're not intimidated. You're the son of Fidel Castro. You're a ruthless dictator, just like your father.
by those who hurl insults and abuse at small business workers and steal food from the homeless. We won't give in to those who fly racist flags. We won't cave.
Because somebody has maybe a Confederate flag, it doesn't mean anything. It's part of American tradition. Do you like it or not? That is part of America's tradition. There might be truck drivers who work regularly from southern states and go up to Canada, and they like to have a Confederate flag. I don't see what's the point. I mean, I don't really associate necessarily the Confederate flag with racism. It's just simply a period in history. Put it in your heads, libtards. But of course, this guy is, like I said earlier, at the epicenter of the libtard pandemic.
To those who engage in vandalism or dishonor the memory of our veterans. There is no place in our country for threats, violence, or hatred. So to those responsible for this behavior, it needs to stop. To the politicians exploiting people's fears, I ask you to think long and hard about the consequences of your actions. To the nearly 90% of truckers across the country who've gotten vaccinated, who continue working hard to keep us fed and keep our economy moving, thank you.
Wow.
When did he say that?
This was a few days ago, 3 days ago, 2 or 3 days ago, a couple of days ago, yes. I don't know, depends.
Is he in hiding?
He's in hiding, and he has got actually, even with the fact he's boosted, he's still got the China virus. So, I mean, he is basically going into hiding, and he's still into hiding because people are really angry. Now, the only positive note here from Canada, the Canadian getting revolutionary sounds really ridiculous, but we have to understand that the Canadian never had 1776. They are a bunch of socialists. They bow down to socialism for decades. They really are, I don't know, people who don't have balls. They don't have balls. No, they don't have testicles. They have been castrated in their head by a society that, of course, demands from them complete compliance. So let me show, though, one gentleman, Sasquatchman Premier pledges to end all COVID restrictions. This guy has made a declaration. He's the governor, he's a figure that supports the Freedom Convoy trackers. He's Scott Moe. He has declared this today. He said it's time to look at the ending of all COVID restrictions. Premier Scott Moe is the governor of Saskatchewan,
Yeah.
Which is a Canadian province that borders with the US. So this guy here is sticking a finger up to Justin. I can't keep on calling Kevin.
Who's Kevin?
Kevin Trudeau is another crook with the same surname. It must be like this family is cursed something. Anyway, let me show the message of this courageous Canadian politician that, of course, defies Justin Trudeau.
If you get COVID, you did nothing wrong. It's just impossible for you or anyone to eliminate all of the risk. But here's the positive news. Because now in Saskatchewan, so many people are now vaccinated, and because Omicron seems to be much less severe than previous strains, yes, more people are getting Omicron, but they aren't getting as sick. We may continue to see COVID morph into different variants and forms in the coming months and years, but we need to end the perpetual state of crisis. Recently, we dropped the requirements for close contacts to self-isolate, and you've heard me now many times talk about ending the proof of vaccination system in our province. Other provinces and other countries are also having this very important conversation about how they are going to move forward living with COVID. In the coming days and weeks, the government of Saskatchewan will be taking a number of steps to manage COVID in the same way that we manage other communicable diseases and seasonal viruses that we deal with in our communities each and every year. Dr. Shahab and his team will continue to provide updates on any new emerging issues that may be related to COVID or other public health risks that are affecting our province. And our #1 priority will be ensuring that healthcare services will be there and be available for anyone that may require them. So what does this all mean for us? It means COVID is not ending, but government restrictions on your rights and freedoms, those will be ending, and ending very soon. So keep doing what you are doing. Go get vaccinated if you have not yet. While it may not prevent you from getting COVID, it will significantly protect you against getting sick. Use rapid tests from time to time. Stay home if you're not feeling well. Travel, go to work, have dinner with your friends, go to the movies, go to your kids' games, most importantly. You should do all of these things without constantly assessing if your every activity is absolutely necessary. What's necessary is your freedom. What's necessary is getting your life back to normal. And it's time. I want to thank all of you for the sacrifices that you've made over the past 2 years. I know the people of Saskatchewan are ready for these next steps, and you're going to be hearing more details about these next steps in the days ahead.
Sorry for that slight technical problem. Just had a momentary lapse of reason from the computer.
So are they like in lockdown a lot, the Canadians?
Yes, they have been in very draconian lockdowns during the whole course of this pandemic. So what happens is that now a governor of one of the regions which is closer to the US, like you just heard, has asked the end, has not only sustained the actions of these truck drivers, but has sustained the end of these restrictions, which are damaging all the countries that are putting them in place, including Italy. There was just an article today by the Mises Institute, which I will show you just in a moment. But first, let's discuss a little bit Trudeau. Trudeau, who is basically, like I said, Australia, New Zealand, public health tyranny in these countries is really abundant. Now, for many months throughout the pandemic, us here on this side, ordinary Americans, have been looking north from the land of the free, at least in the red state, but even in the blue states, guys, because we never really had this. I mean, Governor Newsom can impose whatever he wants. Nobody listens to him anyway. I mean, California is different from Canada because here the rules are made to be broken. Nobody really follows. Living in California, you learn that nobody follows the rules. They like to have a bunch of draconian, bureaucratic, hellish measures, but nobody ever listens to them. And so, and plus, it's full of illegal immigrants who do whatever they want. So, I mean, this is how it is. However, the polite Canadians, they are polite. They're a little bit like the Norwegian. It must be the latitude. You see, I lived many years at that latitude. Maybe that latitude, either you are like a Viking and you start really getting your virility back, or either you get slammed down and you're castrated into this Jesuit kind of society, the socialist mode of crap. Having said that, Sweden is, by the way, coming out of all these restrictions now, has just announced it. So on January 15, the minority government enacted a vaccine mandate for Canadian cross-border truckers. That was the triggering point, 80% of whom are already estimated to be vaccinated, as you heard from Trudeau himself. So at that point, the quickly organized grassroots movements amongst that were fed up anyway with what was going on for months. I mean, you couldn't even buy any more grass or alcohol without having vaccine passport. I mean, complete rubbish. The organizer of this whole thing, that the media, by the way, claims is a racist thing, is Jewish. So I guess that, you know, the Holocaust is not about the Jewish race. If you have to follow what Whoopi Goldberg has said before being kicked out of ABC, because for once at least maybe you can't claim that it's all about blackness in this nation. So, thank God. The organizer is a Jewish guy called Benjamin Ditcher and a Metis woman named Tamara Lech. The mandates for trackers have really been very heavy. The Trackers for Freedom convoy, however, have been sabotaged. They have thrown nails on the road. They have done all kinds of things to try to not let these trucks approach and arrive in Ottawa from Vancouver. Trudeau tweeted that he will need to self-isolate at that point because he had been in contact with a person who had the China virus. And then suddenly, when they actually arrived in town, he suddenly said he has the virus and he's in hiding, though, in an undisclosed location for security purpose. No, for security purposes. Maybe he's saying that because he doesn't want anybody to get near to him. I have COVID, don't get me. You know.
Or maybe he's afraid of getting beaten up by the truckers.
And then that's why he says, I have the virus, so then nobody can.
COVID.
Yeah, don't come near me.
So then they can't beat him up.
Okay, so. With over 1 million citizens at their capital demonstrating for freedom and thousands of determined trackers saturating every single road around Parliament Hill, and here we should go back to the images which I showed you earlier, we can say that this whole thing was a success. And I must say that Justin Trudeau got quite desperate because you can see from the way he has interacted that he's getting more and more desperate. Let me forward a little bit this image here to show a little bit.
Decorative gate at the center of the camera right now is.
So here, of course, Freedom Convoy 2022. The images of what went on. Of course, arrived all over the world, and it was a moment of unprecedented revolutionary moment for the tranquil Canadians who finally have grown some balls. They don't have the Second Amendment, the one that Joe Biden wants to destroy. They don't even have the First Amendment, because if you talk in Canada, they come after you. And we have seen what has happened to that pastor earlier this year. You remember we showed that pastor, the images. So even they are very anti-religious, the socialists. I call them socialist scumbags, but that's what they are. So with 1 million citizens that arrived there around the parliament, Trudeau offered no olive branch to the protesters, no peace, no offer of peace. No, he was, as we saw before, kind of, he didn't want to bow down. He wanted to actually challenge them almost. Now, he would not meet with them. He called them those racist, misogynist, those Canadians with unacceptable views. Wow. No, instead of calming the waters and speaking with the people, Trudeau doubled down and began a series of grotesque verbal attacks on the multi-ethnic, multicultural demonstrators that definitely couldn't be called racist because they were multi-ethnic. They were members of the indigenous people. He actually attacked members of the indigenous people of America. He's a racist mofo. I want to say the word. To add insult to injury, his federal minister of transportation, another asshole, announced that not only would the vaccine and cross-border mandates remain, but plans are underway for the government to implement an inter-provincial vaccine mandate, especially for trackers. So, now, the Saskatchewan governor we have seen earlier, he's defiant and he's answering the end of Saskatchewan. This must say between Ottawa and Saskatchewan. I mean, it's very indigenous, very Indian.
I remember, like on yesterday, we had a hard time with Punxsutawney Phil. Punxsutawney Phil, he saw his shadow.
Yeah. and the winter is going on for another 6 weeks. Another 6 weeks. And it's going to be a cold winter, I'm afraid, if things go on in this way. Also with Russia, in a moment we will show also what's happening on that side of things. However, the Canadian mainstream media, taken directly from the mainstream media playbook used for January 6, accuse everybody of being Nazi, the Confederate flags, the additional hatred toward the peaceful, orderly, and patriotic protesters. That was very much, there was a lot of hatred toward these patriotic protesters from the mainstream. It was evident. The American media counterparts also indulge in the same thing. And aside from Fox News, you will always have support for Trudeau. It's almost like these days you have the mainstream media acting totally in defiance of any truth, more and more into a radical view that truth has to be molded into an accepted reality for us, the modern plebeians. So the trackers haven't got rid of the mandates yet. They're working on it. But the government rhetoric against the demonstrators is escalating. The Liberal government and Liberal mayor of Ottawa are, of course, urging protesters to leave. Now, the public opinion, contrary to what Trudeau says or all these politicians, is very much in favor of the trackers.
That's good.
So at least we can say that people in Canada are not completely brainwashed.
That's good. That's good.
I hope they grow some balls in Canada. I would like one day to visit this country, though. I've always I have some problems. Though I am myself partly British, though I am related to the Queen of England, I'm kind of allergic to countries like Australia, New Zealand, and Canada, because I see them so. I don't know, man. It must be my snobbish elite feeling that I just think of them as a bunch of prisoners bowing down to the Queen, who is herself, of course, taking advantage of the fact that she's one of the last constitutional monarchies left.
You like England?
Untouched. I grew up there. I mean, half British. Well, because my mother is from London, of course. But I mean, do you think I agree with their politics? Or I agree with my cousins? No, I don't agree with any of them. I don't even agree with my own family, you see, most of the time. So I argue with them. I don't argue with the rest of. I mean, if these people keep on bowing down to the Windsors and to those BS, I mean, whatever. That's, I mean, what can you do? Leo, where can I watch your documentary that aired on Enigma TV? I guess you can watch it on Enigma TV. I don't know. We will be hopefully uploading some of those documentaries I produced for Enigma TV in the future on my new channel, L'esole Ufficiale, the Leozagami show. Maybe in the future, but I will do that. So it's as an incentive to subscribe also to another channel. They demonstrate better than the Italians. The Italians are not even to be mentioned. I mean, here the Italians are like the most ridiculous people in the planet. They have the Vatican, guys. They have the Vatican. They have the false prophet himself, Jorge Mario Bergoglio. And yesterday, every Wednesday, you have the weekly audience with the Pope. And yesterday, somebody had the courage to get up and say the truth about the fact that nowhere Jesus or God is requiring masks, that the Pope is basically acting in a way that is anti-Christian. This scene, yesterday when it happened, I didn't have a full picture of it. I knew something happened. I knew the Pope was very tense. He actually intervened and talked about this whole thing after it happened at the end of his Wednesday speech. So something happened, but I didn't really understand. He said, the Pope said, oh, this poor suffering, poor thing, I want to pray for him. But what did this guy do? What did this guy do? So today, I want to show you what this guy did, because at least you can understand how. I think this guy must have been maybe of Slavic origins. I don't think he was Italian, this protester. The Italians have no balls. The Italians have no balls. They have lost their balls. Their balls in Italy have been lost in 1945 once the war was ended with, of course, Mussolini being hanged, and that was it for Italy. End of the story. They became, and then in 1946, the monarchy was removed, another monarchy removed, because you see, monarchies needed to be removed in the project of the Illuminati. I explained this very well in my new book. But check out what happened yesterday in the Vatican, guys. So here we have somebody who started to talk during the last 5 or 10 minutes of his talk. I mean, it lasts like 30 minutes, and in the last 10 minutes, there was suddenly this guy. And now, thanks to this new footage, we can actually see the guy being brought away from the Vatican police. He's saying a church is one, the church is not made, it doesn't need any mask. The Pope that is pushing not only for the vaccines, pushing all these restrictions in the Vatican, but he's also pushing for the one world religion. And this guy, of course, seems very much interested in denouncing all this to the Pope. I reject you, Father, you are not a king. Now, technically speaking, he actually is a king. The Vatican is a elective monarchy, though the whole thing as a king, he doesn't wear anymore the tiara, which used to be his, you say, crown, his triple crown after the Second Vatican Council. But of course, this guy is saying it because he is acting in a way that goes against the very basic tenets of religion. And cites, of course, the Bible. So here we have basically the answer of the Pope that came a few minutes later. After they brought him out, the Pope decided to say something about it. Of course, the Pope likes to diminish, the Pope likes to, he had to, though, intervene and say something about it, because everybody had heard, there was this. So let's see what happened here.
Abbiamo sentito alcuni minuti fa una persona che gridava, sgridava, che aveva qualche problema, non so se fisico, psichico, spirituale, ma un fratello nostro in problema. Io vorrei finire pregando per lui, il nostro fratello che soffre, poveretto, se sgridava è perché soffre, ha qualche bisogno.
Listen, Pope, the gentleman that you brought away with your Vatican gendarmerie, with your police there, he was saying that the church is not the way God wants it. Masks are not of the church of God. The accident that happened during yesterday Pope's general audience is the reaction of somebody who obviously wants to have a church that still believes in God, not in science as the ultimate tool to solve everything. Let's remember what I said also the other day when I was on InfoWars regarding the fact that this Pope, even had a couple of secret meetings with the Pfizer CEO. You can find this article about it on leozagami.com. You can check for all my latest articles on leozagami.com. I would like all of you, though, to continue to listen to what the Pope said to this guy who finally had the courage to say, we don't need the mask in the Church of God.
Non essere sordi al bisogno di questo fratello. Preghiamo insieme la Madonna per lui. Ave Maria, piena di grazia, il Signore
Regardless of his stuff and what he does, he recites the Holy Mary.
con te. Tu sei benedetta fra le donne e benedetto il frutto del tuo seno, Gesù. Santa Maria, Madre di Dio, prega per noi peccatori, adesso e l'ora della nostra morte.
Whole crowd of masked idiots that are, watch them. Watch these people. Who are these people? Who are these idiots? What is this? What is this clown show? This constant clown show? This is like, I mean, it's just crazy. It's totally crazy. So, this is what's going on in the world. Medical tyranny is just part of the plan. The Freedom Convoy, of course, that is trying in one way or another to react to all this. It's reacting, but will they be able to change things around? Will they be able to change things? Because, I mean, it's very difficult, Christy, to change things around. What do you think?
Well, they have to try. I think it's great. Every time we see Convoy, I think of that movie from the 70s.
Which movie?
Remember that movie we were going to watch?
Which one?
It's called Convoy.
Ah.
Do you remember it? It was about the truckers. It was cool. Remember it? Convoy? Anyway, every time you say it, I think of that movie.
Now, the majority of Canadians really want COVID rules now to end. There's a massive swing in sentiment, and I think that if Trudeau goes on like this, he will have some very serious problems. Let's go to this pool that was done in Canada. Let's check this out. Here we are. Sorry, guys. Here we are. Incidence of Omicron. 1 in 5 Canadians report COVID-19 infections in their household since December 1. Okay. Majority 54 now say they want all restrictions to end. Increase of 14 points since early January. This is so a new study from non-profit Angus Reid Institute offers insight into just how widespread the variant is and the fact that they want all restrictions lifted. They want to get on with their lives. 70% of Americans also want to get on with their lives. And America has never really had the restrictions that we had in countries like Italy, for example. Italy is used to be my country. I no longer consider it to be my country. I thank God every day that I'm here in the United States of America, because Italy's COVID despotism is just getting worse. It's just never ending. It's been written about also by the Mises Institute. Here we have an article by Matteo Salonian. The news, I mean, in Italy, you can't do anything basically without the super green pass. You are second-class citizens here. The second-class citizens who have already been stripped of the right to move, work, and participate in a great number of social activities are now forbidden from entering post offices to withdraw their pensions, and they are to be allowed access to supermarkets only to buy goods of primary necessity. In other words, the Italian government decides what kind of food and what other goods, if any, these people will be able to purchase. I don't understand how my fellow Italians, you are cowards, you are cowards, you are cowards. I know, I'm having an Ezra moment. Yeah, because this, you know, I have this, my Italian show. No? I have 3 or 4 times a week an Italian show, and I'm ever so angry with the Italians. They never followed my political advice. Unfortunately, they end up in the shit, and they're now dwelling in it, and it's only gonna get worse. But let's move forward with more news. As you know, the pandemic is really the least of our problems in front of a thermonuclear war, and we are basically what to do with my Italian passport? Well, you know what you do with the Italian passport. The moment you have an American passport, you do a video and you burn it. You burn it in front of all the people. The same thing I will do hopefully next year. I want to set fire to my Italian passport in front of the people of America to make them understand this is no longer Bella Italia. It's not the country of dreams. It's not the country where you go and have a good time. Italy is a shithole, a fascist shithole, communist, fascists, cowards, catto-communists, Jesuits, pieces of whatever. So, the Zagamiani might save Italy, but I don't believe it. I mean, they're trying. I'm trying.
I believe in you.
I believe in those.
If you're awake right now watching this, I believe in you.
Yeah. Hopefully they want to wake up and they will have some balls, you know, the balls that now finally have been shown in Canada. So, you know, don't visit Italy. It's really a communist shithole. Now, let's move further because we have a lot of news also regarding, of course, the subject of the day. The subject of the day, Christy, is always Russia. And there is some very important things that have happened that we need to discuss because the name of Alex Jones suddenly came out in a department, a U.S. State Department, one of these daily U.S. State Department wannabe briefings, because now the name of Alex Jones was brought up because in the last couple of days, there has been this whole thing that has been surfaced on the mainstream media here in America about some kind of false flag with crisis actors that the Russians are setting up with a fake video that is going to show a drone attacking pro-Russia separatists in Ukraine, Eastern region, all a pretext for an invasion. Now, where is the evidence? Nowhere. Somebody from the Associated Press made finally the right move. And really, you will see in great difficulty this idiot at the U.S. State Department. And incredibly enough, the journalist from the Associated Press accuses the Biden government of acting like Alex Jones. Now, this is not something I guess Alex will particularly appreciate, but his name has definitely came out in one of the most delicate moments in our post-Second World and probably pre-Third World War. So, I mean, it's something that I would like to address immediately. Check this out. This happened earlier on at the U.S. State Department headquarters.
Thanks. Okay, well, that's quite a mouthful there. So you said actions such as these suggest otherwise, suggest meaning that they suggest they're not interested in talks and they're going to go ahead with some kind of a... What action are you talking about?
One, the actions I've just pointed to. The fact that Russia continues to engage in disinformation campaigns.
You made an allegation that they might do that. Have they actually done it?
What we know, Matt, is what I have just said, that they have engaged in this activity, in this planning activity. But let me because obviously this is not the first time we've made these reports public. You'll remember that just a few weeks ago.
I'm sorry, made what report public?
If you'll let me finish, I will tell you what report we made public. We told you a few weeks ago that we have information indicating Russia also has already prepositioned a group of operatives to conduct a false flag operation in eastern Ukraine. So that, Matt, to your question, is an action that Russia has already taken.
It's an action that you say that they have taken, but you have shown no evidence to confirm that. And I'm going to get to the next question here, which is What is the evidence that they play? I mean, this is like crisis actors, really. This is like Alex Jones territory you're getting into now. What
This
evidence?
is Alex Jones territory at the US State Department meeting. This is a journalist from the Associated Press. When I had that, I couldn't stop laughing, guys.
You have to support the idea that there is some propaganda film in the making.
Matt, this is derived from information known to the U.S. government, intelligence information that we have declassified. I think you know.
Okay, well, where is it? Where is this information?
It is intelligence information that we have declassified.
Well, where is it? Where's the declassified information?
I just delivered it.
No, you made a series of allegations and statements.
Would you like us to print out the topper? Because you will see a transcript of this.
Give us the source. Give us the source. That's what he wants to know. We are journalists. We want to know the source of your assertions. The guy from the Associated Press has been doing this for years. You are a whatever.
Briefing that you can print out for you.
I can say what I think about him. Otherwise, they're probably not even going to give me the American passport. I mean, this guy is such a piece of shit. You know.
For yourself.
That's not evidence, Ned. That's you saying it. That's not evidence. I'm sorry.
What would you like, Matt?
I would like to see some proof that you that you can show that
Matt, you have been
that shows shows that the Russians are doing this. Ned, I've been doing this for a long time.
I know, that was my point. You have been doing this for quite a while. You know that when we declassify intelligence information, we do so in a means we do so with an eye to protecting sources and methods.
Is not going to fall. I remember a lot of things. So where is the declassified information other than you coming out here and saying?
Matt, I'm sorry you don't like the format, but we have
declassified.
I'm sorry you don't like the content.
I don't like the format. I don't like the content. What is it like? Is he inaugurating a new reality show? I don't like the format. You don't like the format. What the heck are we talking about here?
I'm sorry you are doubting the information that is in the possession of the U.S. government. No, what I'm telling you is that this is information that's available to us. We are making it available to you in order for a couple reasons. One is to attempt to deter the Russians from going ahead with this activity. Two, in the event we're not able to do that, in the event the Russians do go ahead with this, to make it clear as day, to lay bare the fact that this has always been an attempt on the part of the Russian Federation to fabricate a pretext.
Yeah, but you don't have any evidence to back it up other than what you're saying. It's like you're saying, we think we have information the Russians may do this, but you won't tell us what the information is. And then when you're asked,
I will consider this brutta figura, no, Christian? Yeah, in Italy they say brutta figura. The guy's making a really mockery of his whole assertion that I mean there is a Russian conspiracy. Yes, but give us the evidence. The Associated Press journalist says, "Give us the evidence." Yes, I'm giving you the evidence. What is this evidence? Well, I gave it to you now. I'm sorry you like the format. What the heck is all this about, Christy?
I don't know.
The idea behind deterrence. That is the idea behind deterrence. It is our hope that the Russians don't go forward with this.
You say, I just gave it to you. But that's not what
you seem not to understand. You seem not to understand the idea of deterrence. We are trying to deter the Russians from moving forward with this type of activity. That is why we're making it public today. If the Russians don't go forward with this, that is not ipso facto an indication that they never had plans to do so.
But then it's unprovable. I mean, my God, what is the evidence that you have that suggests that the Russians are even planning this?
Matt,
I mean, I'm not saying that they're not, but you just come out and say this and expect us just to believe it without you showing a shred of evidence that it's actually true. Other than when I ask, or when anyone else asks, what's the information? You said, well, I just gave it to you, which was just you making a statement.
Matt, you said yourself, you've been in this business for quite a long time. You know that when we make information, intelligence information public, we do so in a way that protects sensitive sources and methods. You also know that we declassify information only when we're confident in that information. If you doubt the credibility of the U.S. government, of the British government, of other governments, and want to, find solace in information that the Russians are putting out, that is for you to do.
I'm not asking what the Russian government is putting out. And
Okay, somebody says that Project Veritas should ambush them and ask the real questions. I think the Associated Press was asking the real question, and actually it demonstrated that even a mainstream libtard from Associated Press can actually put in difficulty a guy who doesn't want to tell us the truth. Now he's covering it up at the end and saying if we have intelligence sources, we don't really tell who it is. But if you act in this way, why didn't he say it immediately? This comes from our intelligence. Tell us the name of the agency. What is it? The CIA? Tell us at least the name of the agency that gave you this information. Or if it is intelligence information covered by some kind of security, then you have to say it. I mean, we can discuss it. It's top secret. We don't have clearance for giving you the source, but the source is accredited and is a serious one. This should have been maybe a possible answer by this guy at the US State Department. So it's just incredible. And by the way, this whole story of this hypothetical plan of Russia setting up this false flag in Ukraine has also reached the clown world of CNN. CNN, that, by the way, just had this Zucker giving up on his job. We don't know why. Well, of course, it's not because he was with a woman working for years, both are divorced, so who cares if it happened?
There must be something.
There's, of course, something else. Cuomo is starting to get all these people in difficulty, and I'm sure that soon we're going to have more people leaving the network. A network that, by the way, has failed economically. The ratings are ridiculous, and so even I think the owner of the whole show says, that's it, I had enough with this bunch of clowns. So I mean, CNN is not even able to convince the people to convince the people who own it that these clowns who are running it are worthy of doing their job. In fact, now I think they'll probably go back to be a regular news station without all this political overtone. We have already MSNBC, we have already NBC, we have already all these other actors, ABC, also politicized. I don't see the necessity. I don't see the necessity for a situation where we have, no? What do you think, Christy? Do we need to have a CNN that is so overly politicized when actually it used to be, I don't know, maybe 20 years ago, a station that used to, in some way, give us the news? By the way, I found this on the internet. It's rather funny. With President Xi Jinping and Fauci as mini-me, I think.
Laboratory leak. Laboratory leak. Laboratory leak. Laboratory leak.
So that's it. No worries, guys. Don't worry. Move on. Everything is fine. The world is a wonderful place. The most vaccinated country in the world is also one of the places where, unfortunately, the cases that are confirmed here are skyrocketing. You know, it's like they have always had. It's always been at the top, at the top. Israel at the top. Poor Israel, poor Israel. There is a lot of Israelis that follow this show that unfortunately start to understand that they are in the hands of a bunch of Satanists. The Sabbatean Franks seem to have really taken over the show, and it's sad to see how they are conducting things. Welcome to the Leo Zagami Show. By the way, if you want to support us, you can do it. You can do it how, Christy? We don't have any longer PayPal. So how can you support us?
There's Fundly.
There is GoFundMe. And there is Cash App.
Cash App.
And there is Cash App.
You can buy a book.
You can buy a book. So
you can like and share. this video.
Yes. Why don't you show a little bit our books, Christy, in the meantime, while I prepare the next things coming up here.
This is my book. This is number 1, and this is number 2, and then this is your book. That's number, what was this for? 5, and then 666. So I can't see where oh yeah, 666.
6.66.
6.66. This is a really good book.
And it's one of our
Scary,
bestsellers. And of course, the upcoming Volume 7, which is coming out when?
On Monday. I finished it. I was working on it for a week. I was editing it for a week. It should be done. We're waiting for the graphics. So.
Okay, guys, please support us because if you support us, we will bring you 3 shows a week instead than 2.
Okay.
We will bring you 3 for the price of 2. But if you don't pay for even the 2,
Tuesday and Thursday.
Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. But of course, guys, this will be possible from next week only if you truly believe in us and if you start purchasing our products or if you give us some donations. We can't just simply do otherwise. Why? Because time is very precious. When you are a writer like me, you write 10 to 15 hours a day writing books. Guys. So, I mean, that's why I'm saying we need to be understanding that we are here to provide a service. So if I don't work for you, I work for somebody else.
How long is our show on the week during the week?
The
one on Saturday is on for 2 hours. So how long is this?
Well, I mean, it depends. Today we have a lot of news. So let's go to the Russians who answer on CNN about this supposed conspiracy, which is also a very funny moment, I think, because they are a complete bunch of clowns at CNN.
Ambassador, the US and indeed the UK have put your capital on notice that they are watching and seeing not just deployments, but also so-called planning for false flag operations. You know what that means. Maybe you just heard me describe one that the US National Security Agency is concerned about, that Russia...
False flag. Now they are becoming really worse than Alex ever was with the false flag topic. I mean, this is CNN today, guys. And but they like really to... watch the face of the Russian. He's laughing. Check out what the Russian says now.
Maybe planning some kind of graphic video to simulate an attack on Russians by either Ukrainians or NATO supporting Ukrainians, implicating NATO as well, complete with actors and video and the whole lot of it. Can you confirm that Russia would not do that kind of thing?
I think I understand what you have in mind. It's something similar to false flag operations conducted by Western countries and certain quasi-NGOs in Syria some time ago with alleged chemical attacks, allegedly by the Syrian government, but in essence by their opponents. So I can assure you that Russia is never involved in any business of this kind. And there is no reason, logically speaking, that might be taking place.
So I know that is the Moscow point of view on the chemical weapons in Syria, but as you know very well, it has been proven and it was condemned at the Security Council.
So, Christy, what do you think of the Russians' reply? Of course, always with that very ironic sense of humor, very cold, typical of the Russians. But it's always very interesting to see how they kind of like always manage to treat these mainstream libtards with very much like, okay, yes, you are a bunch of wannabe journalists. You're not real journalists, because real journalists are nowhere to be found these days, very rare. They are a species just as a rare animal that is to be extinguished. And that's why the Associated Press guy who finally made a very interesting questioning to the guy at the US State Department, of course, was kind of like, I was very impressed with that. Definitely. And I think in the next few days, we're going to hear a lot about these topics that we are discussing today. You are hearing all this first on the Leo Zagami show. Isn't that the case, Christy? Mm-hmm. Why are they hearing it first here? Because we try to bring you the news. It's not tomorrow's news today. It's tomorrow's, and the day after tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow news before everybody else today.
It's next month's news.
It's next month's news. So, on InfoWars we do tomorrow's news today. Here we do next month's news today. Not bad, huh? Sure. So the Leo Zagami show, broadcasting on Facebook, on YouTube, on a surviving channel. We need your support. Please subscribe also to the other channels.
Yeah, please.
Please. They are on the description of this video. Subscribe because you can risk to not see us from one moment to the other. And then at that point, what are you going to do? Well, I also suggest to always go on the leozagami.com website because we always have a link there to our channels. Okay? Okay, so the USA gives to Ukraine over 50 billion. Well, of course, we have also a lot that has to do with Ukraine and Hunter Biden. Not bad, that too. Okay, I wanted to show here a couple of things that are to do with Joe Biden and the Second Amendment, because our presidential clown has once again astonished us, because in these videos that I'm going to show you, he has really demonstrated he doesn't have a clue. He even went as far as branding Glock, which is the most popular firearm among civilians for recreational use, as a weapon of war. With 40 bullet magazine, you cannot say this is a weapon of war. For those who don't know what a Glock is, just so you have an idea, for those people who ignore, it's one of my favorite guns. It comes from Austria. It was approved in 1982. It's very much the favorite of Arnold Schwarzenegger. He always has a Glock in his... So he might be a libtard. Rambo, I know. You don't like Schwarzenegger. He's a bit of a Terminator. So, but in any case, here we have the Glock. For those who don't know what a Glock is, this is a Glock. And it says here, Glocks are popular firearms among civilians for recreational and competition shooting, home and self-defense, both in concealed or open carry. Now, this up until today, before Joe Biden branded them as dangerous weapons of mass destruction. Guys, this... I know, Rambo, what can you do? You like your Glock. I mean, Rambo likes his Glock. He prefers a 1911. It's more suitable for little chihuahuas. But in any case, Joe Biden went back once again to rediscuss the Second Amendment as something that is not really, I mean, even the Constitution for Joe Biden becomes something that is kind of fluid, almost like your gender fluid. You can discuss it, you can mold it. There's nothing to discuss. It's a constitution and you have to respect it. Whatever. Okay, let's go to Joe Biden.
See, this doesn't violate anybody's Second Amendment right. There's no violation of a Second Amendment right. We talk like there's no amendment that's absolute. When the amendment was passed, it didn't
no amendment that's absolute. It doesn't sound very good.
Say anybody can own a gun and any kind of gun and any kind of weapon. You couldn't buy a cannon, and when this
cannon, what got to do a cannon with a Glock?
Passed, and so no reason why you should be able to buy certain assault weapons. But
okay, let me show you the passage in which he discusses specifically the Glock. I mean, like I said, the Glock is I mean, people have their own taste when it comes to guns, but the Glock is almost like the Italian caliber 9. It's in fact is in use by the Austrian police. I mean, it's that kind of very handy weapon that can be used even by a woman, because it's not that big. It's not like, you know, I mean, you're not talking about some kind of massive. But for Joe Biden, astonishingly, it is something very dangerous. Check this out. Clown Joe Biden.
You know, the future's cut short by a man with a stolen Glock with 40 rounds, a magazine with 40 rounds. And it's really a weapon of war.
Weapon of war. A weapon of war. A weapon of war. Okay, we're going to start now condemning in the future also probably water pistols. Maybe they're weapons of war. Huh? Because, I mean, if we go back to the mentality of Joe Biden, Glock is a weapon of war. I mean,
You know, the future's cut short by a man with a stolen Glock with 40 rounds, a magazine with 40 rounds. And it's really a weapon of war.
Ooh, that's a weapon of war. 40 round, a Glock. Where do you put all this for? I mean, I didn't know the guy, but I mean, I think that the Joe Biden is a little bit confused here. Christy, what do you think about that? I mean, Joe Biden is a little bit confused. He's constantly confused, but it seems to be particularly confused when it comes down to now. And all this, why did he come out with all this now? Because of what happened with the shooting of that policeman in New York. There was then, of course, but they are the ones who have instigated all this negativity against the police. They are the ones who said defund the police, and now they want to, instead of refund the police, they want to take the weapons from most of people. So they want to basically defund the police, which means less people taking care of our security in the streets, and at the same time they want to take our weapons. So who is gonna be left with the weapons? The criminals, the crooks, the ones that Joe Biden loves, his voters who are the gangs from Central America who enter this country every day. These are the people who sustain these pieces of garbage who are in the swamp in Washington. Those people who are merchants of death, bring in enormous quantities of fentanyl, drugs of all kinds, of course, with China, because fentanyl is produced in China, by the way, just so you know. This is the truth. This is the sad truth of all this. So, dear Joe Biden, you want to take all our weapons. You want to take the police off the streets. You will be left with a bunch of people with illegal weapons in the, like in Italy. In Italy is a country where basically you have the weapons only in the hands of mobsters, criminals, crooks of all kinds, and people are constantly threatened, and it's like a hellish life. Rambo, what's up? Pick him up. He wants to come and say hello. Rambo wants to come and say, Rambo, what's up? Come here.
He wants to go for a walk.
He wants to go for a walk, but we still have a show here. Oh.
I know, you have to open the collar line thing.
Okay. So, by the way, just so you know, this is the latest.
We always go at 6 o'clock, and he knows that he has to go for a walk. And so that's why he's standing there staring like that.
Pick him up.
Doesn't matter. He's just going to.
But pick him up so he can intervene. Because our audience like, Rambo, you want to come here? Come on. That's it. We have a talking chihuahua in the show. This is the only show with a talking chihuahua. He even participated to the Alex Jones show. He didn't talk when he was with Alex, though. Rambo, come here. Come here, Rambo. Come here. Rambo, what's up? Huh? What's up?
Stop it.
So this is my chihuahua, otherwise known as Rambo. He's a vicious creature. Rambo, you're a vicious creature. Huh? What's up? Huh? Say hello to everybody. Say hello to everybody. Say hello to everybody. Hello. Hello. Okay, mi sento lei. Okay, Rambo is going to be taking...
Open the phone line.
The lines are open. I'm going to give you the phone number. Chris,
970.
you don't remember the phone?
577?
Okay.
636. I don't know if that's it. 577.
Okay. Maybe it's better that you wait so I can give them the phone number.
577. That was it.
No.
I just saw it.
Here we are. Yeah, it's 577-6369. You were right.
577-6369.
Okay, Gracie. Grace is always right, huh? Here we are. Okay, guys, we put it on the screen. Remember, you can still support us with Cash App, Fundly, GoFundMe. You can find all these options in the description of this video, aside from the links for all our books. Call us so you can have a brief chat with us. Our show ends in 10 minutes because, of course, Rambo, 10 minutes, that's maximum.
He's sitting down.
We have another phone call. Welcome to the Leo Zagami show. Who am I talking with?
Hello, buonasera.
Buonasera, who am I talking with?
This is Maria Luisa.
Hi.
Hello, Maria
From
Luisa.
Canada.
Hi, Maria Luisa from Canada.
Hi.
So you are really a living testimony of what's happening. Tell us all. You can be a reporter from Canada. What is happening in Canada?
That's right. I have quite a lot to tell you, actually. So first of all, Kirsty, you look lovely as always. You could be one of those cable girls, you know, the series Cable Girls.
Oh,
yeah, I like your look. It's similar to mine, ma io non sono bionda.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. So you are a brunette.
Leo, I could not take my eyes off your pocket hanky. You're just saying, it looks quite funky.
What looks, sorry?
Funky.
Is that a bad thing?
Funky.
It could be good, it could be bad.
It could be good, it could be bad. Is that a good way of saying funky or a bad way of getting funky? Because sometimes funky can have two connotations.
Oh, it looks quite cool.
That's cool. Thank you so much.
Okay, so first of all, thank you so much for focusing on Canada tonight. You know, with the truckers having traveled thousands of miles and, you know, in very large numbers, we Canadians here finally feel like a lot of hope, and there's so much excitement in the country. It's like a big hockey game, and the support of most people is fantastic. It's just unbelievable.
Wow, it's funny. Sorry if earlier I said the Canadians need to grow some boats, but maybe they're really growing.
Well, you know, the truckers, they're not to be fooled with. Those guys mean business. They are a group that if anyone can do anything, they are the ones.
That's so good.
Well, I mean, then you are. You think that Trudeau is going to stay in hiding forever, or you think that in the end he's going to have to at least acknowledge that these people have touched on some proper issues, or he's going to continue in being defiant? What do you think is going to happen with Trudeau?
Well, right now, like it's like they said, he's like a frog in hot water, and the temperature keeps going up and up. So we'll see what happens. It's a little bit also my question that I had for you. But first of all, I wanted to say that that one video you played of Justin Trudeau making those idiotic comments, those were all really small problems in the city of Ottawa. Because the truckers have been doing a stupendous job during this demonstration. There's no violence. They've cleaned the streets. They're keeping everyone fed and non-violent. And I mean, it's a tremendous effort to do all that, and they're doing it.
Well, that is a good thing, because they said they might start a similar kind of protest here in California. We might look forward to it then. But you think that it's gonna continue, or in the end, this policeman? Because I heard that the police might be preparing for some kind of draconian measures to take them out of town. Or you think that's not going to happen?
Right. Well, the police, the RCMP has tried on several accounts, and the head of the truckers, they're really staying put. They're not going anywhere. They really have dug in their heels, and they're not going to move. And the RCMP, which is the federal police, has not been able to do any communication. They'll try again. The only thing that could be draconian is if they bring the military in. And if that happens, then we really have a problem of a different kind.
You think that this might escalate in a civil unrest if they do that?
I'm not sure, but I mean, there's that possibility, because that's pretty elevated option that they're bringing in, when these guys are just saying, look, we want to be heard, and they're not moving, and they're doing everything that they've been asked. They were honking every half hour from 8 o'clock till sometime like 6 p.m. and they were told that the hours were disturbing the people. They stopped doing that. They're trying to be really civil. And again, I can't say how stupendous they are. They're really doing all their best. And if anything happens, it won't be because of them. I'm sure of that.
There is video circulating online where police is bringing rubber bullets, explosives. It seems like they might be preparing for a harsh repression. Of course, that will be in line with his father, Fidel Castro, and that will definitely bring you to the darkest moments of Cuba, which, of course, is a country that still nowadays, in the recent months, has suffered a lot of repression, because Joe Biden has not helped the insurrectionists, and now they are being tortured and locked up in some of the shittiest prisons in the world, which are in Cuba. So that's unfortunately what's happening. Your question for today?
My question, Leo, is what do you think that the globalists or the Jesuits have on Justin Trudeau's head? Because it's not normal that he's behaving the way he is. He's not listening to the people. He's not there for
but
people.
I mean,
don't even know where he
it
is.
seems pretty obvious from what Klaus Schwab has said. I mean, he's a young leader brought up within the World Economic Forum, within that mindset, elitarian mindset, in which you yourself are really pretty much detached from reality. So the problem is this: a lot of times we think of these people as being connected to the reality of things, but in reality they are living in their own echo chambers where they are always meant to feel great, and they always have people around them saying how great they are and they should continue that way. And so the Fourth Reich, the Great Reset that is being implemented, has in Justin Trudeau one of their main soldiers around the world. And this was by admission of the same Klaus Schwab. So we have to just see what's going to happen if the Canadians will really change things and fight. But we are talking about Canada, a country that doesn't have any weapons, doesn't have a Second Amendment. Majority of people are not even trained to fight what is coming. So it's very sad, because if they act in a repressive way, it will be more or less like China, and everybody will be silent, just like they do in China. Unfortunately, that's the only answer I can give you. He is definitely a tool of the Jesuits, a tool of the New World Order. He's being grown up, though, within a very particular family that has always worked with the Jesuits, with this New World Order. He was brought up, in the World Economic Forum because of his father, and he was always treated like a young leader that will tomorrow have an important position. So I think that really makes him defiant psychologically. Somebody needs to wake him up and say, listen, we don't care about you, the Davos agenda, or everything else, but the majority of Canadians will be able to react, or will they bow down like the Italians? Question.
Right now, I would say I'm not sure, but it's almost like a 50-50, because it's really, the country is very divided on this, because even the fact that these truck drivers are there demonstrating for a good cause, there's nothing to do with the actual vaccine per se, but they keep changing it around and making it a vaccine problem, which it isn't. And a lot of people feel that these truckers should not be there, and that they should move along and do their job and comply. But from my end, I also see the other side, which is really showing support and love and everything that is
I showed
Canadian.
earlier the Saskatchewan governor there, Saskatchewan.
How do you say it? Saskatchewan?
Saskatchewan. Yes.
Saskatchewan.
What do you think of him?
I'm not sure right now. Any MP or politicians that are all for the truck drivers and all that, I go tongue in cheek, because where were they before when we needed?
What do you know about Scott Moe? You don't think he's
I think it's good. I mean, the country needs to hear more and more people like him.
Thank you so much for calling in today. Thank you so much. Please keep on supporting us and listening to us. Have a great week. And if you want to call back on Saturday, of course, you're welcome.
Listen to Kyle Camper, Justin Trudeau's half brother, if you can. He's very, very good. Not excellent speaker. Grazie mille. Bye bye.
Grazie a te. And that was, of course, our friend directly from Mariangela, I think is her name, from Canada, from Canada, of course, of Italian origin. So she had also good pronunciation in Italian.
Yeah, she did really good.
Of course,
Really
she must be
good.
first
Bravo.
generation. So here we are with the Leo Zagami show. We have, of course, a book coming up, Volume 7, which is about the Fourth Industrial Revolution, the Fourth Reich, the move towards transhumanism, that those started a long time ago. Now, here I wanted to show something to our viewers that was sent to me by an Israeli viewer of ours. Yuval Noah Harari is a scientist, between brackets, transhumanist supporter, who delivers this speech in front of Klaus Schwab. And what he said is astonishing. The way he says it, he lives in Israel. He's a character that we will like you to check out now. Let me know what you think.
Within a very short time, you can have a much better AI doctor on your smartphone somewhere in a village in Colombia or in Congo than the president of the US has today for human doctors. I think the big battle in this regard in the 21st century will be between privacy and health will win. Most people will be willing to give up their privacy in exchange for much better healthcare based on 24 hours monitoring of what's happening inside their bodies. I guess very soon people will walk around with biometric sensors on or even inside their bodies and will allow Google or Facebook or the Chinese government or whoever to constantly monitor what's happening inside my body, so that, you know, the day the first cancer cell starts to multiply and spread, somebody at Google or at the health authority will know and will be able very easily to nip the cancer in the bud And the day that a flu epidemic starts, they immediately know, oh, a flu epidemic is starting, and they know who are the people who are carrying it, and they can take very effective and quick and cheap action to prevent it. So the promises are enormous. The dangers are also enormous.
The dangers are also enormous, but he doesn't seem to be worried about the dangers. And Klaus is very interested in listening to him and every word of Yuval Noah Harari, who is an Israeli public intellectual, not a scientist, sorry, an historian, a professor at the Department of History at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, aside from being homosexual. That's nothing bad, of course, but there is a strange twist about the way he calls his companion. He has a way of calling his companion which is a little bit unusual. It's like he gives his companion also a particular name, nickname. I'm trying to find it here. Harari spoke at the World Economic Forum conference in 2018 and 2020. So he's a stable speaker at the World Economic Forum. He is somebody who is, Harari sees an existential threat in arms race, in artificial intelligence and bioengineering. And also he likes to solve and cooperate with nations to solve threats like ecological collapse, nuclear war, and technological disruption. He is definitely somebody who we will be talking more about in the future now that we are about to, of course, launch Volume 7. Rambo, what's up with you? And like I said...
This guy is so boring.
Huh? Who?
He's so boring.
Which guy?
This guy.
Well, no, but what he said that was very serious, because he said that everything that you have in your body will be communicated and the governments will hack in it. I mean, this is serious stuff. I mean, it's like, so Harari, like we said, is gay, and that's okay. But he met his husband in 2022, and he calls his husband my internet of all things. So
that's weird.
His husband, who is basically called Itzik Yahav, is his manager, is his internet of all things. Now, guys, here you have somebody who really loves the gay community, but I mean, I don't understand where the internet of all things fits in all this. Rambo, we're about to go. Don't worry about it. You're about to go, Rambo. So, guys, I'm going to see you on Saturday. Me and my wife are very glad to say that we had another great show today. We don't have any time anymore for another phone call, I'm afraid. No?
Okay.
Because you want to take another phone call?
Nobody's calling.
No, I'm not, because the lines are closed, Christy.
Oh.
I couldn't open the line now, keep it open if we are about to close the transmission. You want me to reopen it? We cannot reopen the line, guys. I'm sure that if we open the line,
just open it for a second and then see if somebody calls.
Okay, guys. Christy is being very good with you. She loves you very much, and she wants to give you the possibility of another phone call. +1 970-577-6369. There is one more call allowed for the Zagamis here. Christy, what do you think? In the meantime, let me share with you.
Don't make it boring. Make it interesting. Show the Golden Corral riot. Show the brawl at Golden Corral over the steak.
No, really, I wanted to show, first of all, before we go into that, I want to show, first of all, what Nancy Pelosi said. No, because Nancy Pelosi warned that she is, of course, paid by Communist China, and is warning the Olympic sports, how you say, the sports people who are involved in the Olympics, how you call them?
Olympiads, I don't know.
Competitive, whatever.
Competitors.
Now, but is this, I don't know if this is the right video, though.
It's giving me a headache in my
Well, we have Rambo, stop snoring. Stop snoring. Otherwise, I'm gonna pick you up, and
you're not.
Just like Klaus Schwab here.
No, he's fake snoring anyway. No, no, no.
Let me pick up my dog. I can do it like this.
That's a hairless cat.
I know, but I have to do it big. Like this. Rambo.
That's weird. Show the Golden Corral thing.
Okay, guys.
Who cares about Nancy Pelosi?
Nancy Pelosi? Okay. You don't care about Nancy Pelosi? No worries.
No, bring that back up on Saturday.
Okay, we can bring some of the topics that today we will fortunately touch very quickly. Time is never enough when you do these shows. You see how it goes very fast, Christy. We have a lot of information, but something really Christy sent to me that she wanted me to address in today's show. I'm like, okay, how desperate are these people? You want to talk about it, Christy?
No, there was a big fight with 40 people at Golden Corral over the buffet.
First of all, what is Golden Corral?
It's a buffet in America. It's a buffet. It's a very popular buffet.
Okay.
I haven't gone there since I was a kid.
Yes.
But anyway, they had a big oversteak apparently.
And because
they
of
fought over steak, so I don't know if they ran out or somebody got theirs before another one, but they started throwing chairs.
So there was a confrontation.
Yeah.
Because of a steak.
You can't even find it.
No, I will find it. Don't worry. Just a second. So tell me more about it, Christian.
That's it. I mean, that's basically it. We can end it there.
What?
It's not even that interesting.
No, it is interesting. It is interesting. It is something that actually I will blast tomorrow to my Italian viewers. So I think the Americans need to know all about it. Probably the Italian viewers don't know anything about it, but probably a lot of Americans don't know a lot about what happened because
it's just stupid to fight over the steak like that.
So desperate because there's a scarcity.
No, I just think
first of all, this is like a place that deems to be the number one buffet in America. Is there such a thing as the number one buffet in America?
I don't know.
I thought buffet were a little bit kind of thing of the past.
Remember we went to one in IKEA? They have a buffet. Imagine if it broke out there.
Okay, so guys, Christy has chosen this video for you. It comes from, of course, the local ABC7 news of wherever it happened. Where did it happen, Christy? Which part of America?
Pittsburgh. Pennsylvania, I think.
Okay, let me show you this video, guys. Fighting over a steak. How many people ended up fighting? 40 people. I mean, a riot over a steak. They don't riot over a mask, over other things, but they riot over a steak. Can you believe it? Can you believe? I mean, I have myself some difficulty really in seeing people so idiotic argue over a steak. But this is the world today. So enjoy.
Beef over a piece of steak turns into this huge brawl involving 40 people at a Golden Corral in Pennsylvania. This cell phone video shows punches being thrown, chairs being tossed around. Witnesses say the mayhem began when a man got upset because the person in line behind him got his steak first. The kitchen staff tried to explain why one steak can take longer to cook than another. The man didn't get it, and this was the result. The restaurant says everybody walked away.
It is rather funny, though.
Hello, I'm Mark Brown. Get more great ABC7 content.
Yeah, sure. We gotta
get. Button.
Yeah, sure. We gotta subscribe for such BS. Whatever. This is the great news of the week. I mean, it is a kind of incredible. 40 adults are fighting over a steak in America in the year 2022. Whatever. Okay, let's go with the end of this glorious show. Christy, are you ready?
Hi everyone, I'll see you Saturday.
Remember, we are here every Thursday, Saturday, but Saturday, maybe Tuesday too, if you encourage us by purchasing a book and giving us maybe the occasional donation. We are here for you, bringing you all the latest in today's and tomorrow's and the day after tomorrow and next month news in a very unusual way. Me, my wife, my little chihuahua. This is the Leo Zagami. What's up? What's up? Huh? Okay, guys. See you soon.
Bye, everyone. Have a nice night.
Enjoy from Palm Springs, California. That was the Leo Zagami Show. See you next time.